Two, one. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Vent Rebuild Refocus podcast presented by We Chat Here. And we have a full panel today. We have, of course, the beautiful Sierra Martin. We have Simone, SNS. We have Irie. And we have none other than Chris Okwazi. We got the one and only Wolf. Understand? Good to have you back.
Appreciate it.
And I am no other than that boy Reckless. And today we got a topic, one topic only. This topic is full. It's full body. We're going to talk about the ins and outs. What does it entail? And it is trust. We all are familiar with this word, and we're going to dissect what trust really is to us, how it applies, the restoration of trust after it's broken, the gathering of trust, the building of trust, becoming trustworthy, untrustworthy. Let's talk about it. Do I need to pick somebody first, or do I need to just give the open? Irie, what is trust to you? Or no. What is trust? Period. Let's deal with the fact of trust. What is trust?
It's so many facets.
So right, so trust, and this is not verbatim, but trust is the belief of the reliability, the ability, or the strength of someone or something.
Okay.
That's what trust is. And then we can also second that with Webster. Anybody got Webster accessible? Or are we all on our phones?
No, I do.
Come again?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So define trust. Let's deal with that first.
Yeah, that's what
Trust says assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. One in which confidence is placed, dependence on something future or contingent. Hope is reliance on future, payment for property.
But now that's something different right there.
What? That has nothing to do with trust.
No,
But it does. It's saying all over. It's like reliance on the character, stability, strength, the truth of someone or something, and then it talks about trust can be like a fun, and so on and so on. It just gave all the definitions of trust.
All right, so now, okay, we know what trust is. Is trust given or is it earned?
It's earned.
Let's start there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I say it's both.
Okay, it's both. Why do you say that?
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, I say it's given because, no disrespect, but we don't know our parents. You get what I'm saying? That's the first face we see. So it's given. You get what I'm saying? When we come out the womb, we don't know these people. You get what I'm saying? I don't know I come from my father's ball sack. This is the first face I see. So who else am I going to trust? I'm going to get this man to trust, and that's what I see. That's who's feeding me. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I say it's given, right? However, it's also earned because of your body of work. You get what I'm saying? When you go to a job for a certain job, they trust that you have the ability to do that job because of your background, because of your resume, because of your experience, because of your education. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say go either way. It's however you want to look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the term trust in a whole can be broken down even further to kind of like, as Okwazi said, it's like blind trust is when you're going into a situation where you're not like an expert on the subject or the matter. So if you have a specific ailment and you go to the dentist, you're trusting blindly their expertise in that they've been vetted in their field to do what it is that they have to do. So you kind of have to rely on them and have that type of trust in them. However, there's other things that you can actually go research and do your due diligence to be able to find out. So it's a different type of trust that you're given in that moment. So it kind of can be broken down into different types of trust. It's not just a blanket.
Okay, Simone. Okay, she'll chime in when she can.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My son.
No, you good.
Was it, were y'all asking me what was trust to me? Or
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's trust given. But yeah, what is trust in a nutshell to you? And is it given or is it earned?
okay, to me, trust is automatically given. And in order for trust to be taken away, you have to do something to make the person not trust you anymore. Then I feel like it's going to be a process to earn it back.
Okay. So trust is given automatically.
Well, I agree with what she's saying. Trust is given automatically, but at the same time, it's how you're going to resolve the situation when the trust been broken.
We
Yeah.
let's get into that. Hold on. Let's get into that. For me, trust is given already. I don't think you can earn trust. However, I do think it's given. Understand? And for the simple fact that if you trust in the Lord, right? Because that's where your trust should lie from. That's where it should lie, right? Not in man, but in God's ability to put the right people in your circumference, in your circle. And so with that, the trust is already given because you trust in the Lord. Sierra.
So I did have my own perspective, but after listening to everybody's, it's like, especially what Irie was saying, it's just kind of expanded. So, I'm gonna say it's given because y'all gave some valid points of why it's given, but I'm not gonna say it's not earned because it is earned on down the line. We'll get into that topic of why it's earned once we get into the next ones, but I'll say both.
Okay. So now let me piggyback off of what Simone said. Trust is given, right? For me, it's not earned because you can only lose trust. It's already given, right? So if I already gave you something, it's like no, you can only lose that. It's not something that it's not something that you could earn necessarily because it's already given. Like, could you earn what's already given?
Let me ask you a question. So when we use the word earn, because the way I'm hearing it and how Simone said it, it's like regaining back. And that was, that's why I said we'll get into that once you get to that topic. And the way that Simone was saying is like, you got to earn that trust back. It's like we're regaining that trust back from whatever initial reason that we lost. You lost it, we lost it, whatever. So when we're saying earn, are we using it in the sense of regain, or are we using it in the sense of like, no trust was given at all, period, and then you have to earn my trust, and then I'll trust you?
I
I'm talking in the sense of regaining.
Okay, the restoration of trust. So once trust is severed, earning it back. So let's talk about that. Once trust is severed, what is the rubric or the qualifications or the standards or what have you for earning it back? I know it's going to differ between person to person, but like, what is some of the criteria?
You talk about earning trust back?
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
like
was going to say that again.
trust is severed.
Okay, so you saying when the trust has been severed, what that person have to do to earn the trust back?
Or
Yeah, like
are you saying like,
what is the process of restoring trust, or is there a
Oh, okay.
process?
It
I
actually, wait, flip that question too. Put an ultimatum on it. is it a process to gain trust back? And if it's not, because somebody might say it's not, and if it's not a process, then does that mean that they do not gain the trust back, or you do not trust them? Make that automative, case.
Yeah. So I think it depends on the significance of the relationship.
Yeah.
If it's a business relationship, once it's severed, it's severed. You prove yourself untrustworthy, then now my business goes somewhere else. I'm not willing to risk it again. If it's relationship, significant other, if it's family relationship, then there are different things in terms of proving yourself trustworthy, or like the circumstances surrounding why like the violation occurred, like what the infraction was, will impact how that process looks. So if it's something that is like, maybe it was unknown that this particular thing was a trust violation, then okay, we can go through the process of restoring it. Because sometimes, people genuinely don't know. We want to assume that everyone thinks the same, but everyone doesn't think the same. Because, one example of a trust violation could be if you spend too much money in the account. It's like, hold up, now I trusted you to make good decisions with this money, and now you out here just swiping and swiping. So that could be considered a trust violation. It isn't, a lot of times some people, they try to, especially with relationship, it goes all the way to cheating. And that doesn't always have to be the example. So you can violate trust in many different ways. It just depends on what, that person deems to be a trust violation. So when it comes down to restoring it, that's going to be dependent on what the actual violation was and then the nature of it. If it's something that was fully known, or, you got to explore the components of the violation.
So, okay, I understand that. So during the restoration period, is it like a tangible rubric that a person will have to abide by depending on the situation, or is it like an invisible barrier saying, well, I'm gonna just watch and see their actions to see if, like, what criteria is it?
So I think I can't say that it's both. It's very tangible. I think that it has to start with communication. You have to communicate.
Okay, right.
You communicate what that violation was, how the trust was broken, what the expectation was, what are the expectations, and here's the things that I need to see in order to be able to deem you as a trustworthy person, to be able to restore my faith in you. And if those action items are not occurring, if it's not happening, then it's like, yeah, no, there's no way that I'm going to be able to do it. It has to be very clear, visible action items that are actually taking place to do it.
A closet? Let's talk.
Now, I think just because like I reached that more so the situation, you get what I'm saying? But I think when you talk about trust is something that we sat down and we said, look, don't tell nobody, don't do this. You get what I'm saying? Like, you already made the rules clearly established at first, and that person clearly violated the rules. And depending on the rules, it can vary how long it can take to gain that trust back. Sometimes it's years, sometimes it's months, days. It really just depends on the person and the situation. I'm not as forgiving. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And that's what I wanted to get to. So on your end, is no action registered to say, okay, you got to do this, that, and the third to regain trust. More so, it's just, all right, I'm gonna observe your actions to see when I feel you are trustworthy again.
I think it's more of the actions. You get what I'm saying? Because, like I said, you can say whatever you want to out your mouth, but your heart don't lie. You get what I'm saying? So my thing is, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch you. And if you're still doing what I'm like, okay, this is why I didn't trust you in the first place. That's like, I'll just fall back. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's how it goes, you know, because like I say, people lie all the time to you. They'll tell you what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. But then, you know, you sit back and you watch me like, you know, this
You're
is
still
why we
doing
have
it.
trust issues right now. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm just, you know, I'm going to get my popcorn. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch you, you know. If I don't like the movie, I'm going to walk out. So, period.
Okay. Simone?
Yeah, I agree. That it just depends on the situation. It's going to depend on how we move forward. I feel like a conversation has to be had, and I'm definitely going to identify, you know, what I expect moving forward. I'm not just gonna, you know, watch you and not let you know, what I'm looking for. And I think it's pretty cut and dry with trust. You know, if you know that I wanted you to do a certain something, or you know that you were not supposed to do a certain something, then once you do that, you've broken the trust. And in order to earn that back, you're going to have to, remain silent and not do that thing again. I'm sorry. I hope y'all can hear me.
We can. We good. Listen. We all got children, but we know we good.
Can I just ask for the situation that you just described? What if they don't know? Because a lot of times we assume that someone is on the exact same page or they have the same understanding about certain things, and that might not be the case. So in a situation where they're not aware that this is quote unquote a trust violation, then how is that handled? When it's something that is unspoken, when it's an unwritten rule or unspoken truth, then what?
So then that's when you get a pass, and that's really your only pass. If you don't know, nobody can sit there and blame you or hold you accountable for it. That's why, to me, communication is one of the major things that happens in a relationship. As I stated on the last podcast conversation, if you're not communicating those things, you can't expect the person to know. So in that case, they would hopefully communicate, that they felt violated, and hopefully that person, would respect that and, try to be mindful of it moving forward.
Gotcha.
Pardon me. Trust and the restoration thereof. So to restore trust, what is my stance on that? I believe trust. I believe it shouldn't have to be restored. Like
I'm not restoring trust.
like, I feel okay. I understand your point, Irie. If it's unknown, right? I wouldn't even classify that as a breach of trust. I would only classify things that's known, right? Because now I'm confiding, right? I have an expectation. So if I confide and I have an expectation, then that's when the trust is actually enabled. Understand? Disabled trust is untalked about because you don't know. But enabled trust is something that I already articulated, we already agreed upon. And if that's infracted, um, like what is the real, like why is it being restored? Like what's the reason for restoration? Understand? It, like why is it being restored?
Right.
Okay, what if it's a parent-child relationship?
A parent-child relationship.
Yeah.
How could so I mean
So I think most of us have children.
yeah, that's right.
Okay. So let's say that, you trust your child to be home by themselves and they throw a party.
Okay.
Then are you now like, no, I will never, as long as you live under this roof, leave you alone?
It still needs to be earned back, right?
Well, yeah, but he said that there's no restoration.
Yeah,
There's
he
no
said
No,
there's no earn back at all.
no, no. So when I
Yeah,
said,
he
I
ain't
said,
trusting you ever again. That's it.
no, this is good. This is good.
You said
No,
it.
he
He said it.
ain't even trusting the kids no more. The kids can get the fuck
You told me a lie. You are exiled. Leave. No, but listen.
terrified.
I mean,
So this is the thing, right? In that instance, to where I left a child at the house and they threw a party. Um, that privilege, well, leaving a child at the house isn't a privilege, however.
well, yeah.
But so they were unresponsible, understand, and they did have a breach of trust. I did trust them to, do the right thing. In that situation, absolutely not. They will be chaperoned, understand, until they are of age, understand, to make a
Wait,
decision.
they better
Okay.
already be of
We're
age if you leave them
saying,
at home
okay,
by
so they're
themselves.
16. So it's a 16-year-old and you left them home by themselves. They decided to throw a party. So at what age? So you're saying until they prove themselves responsible enough to be left alone, or they have to be 18 and over?
They
18
would
no,
they
they
would,
out,
I
baby.
would not leave them alone in the house again.
Ever.
Not No, you can't say ever, right? Because
Well,
I mean, when they
ever
become
meaning,
20 and they become 21, of course, but
well,
not at an age to where they're gonna be mischievous,
okay.
right?
And they teens.
Yeah, and when I say ever, I just mean in terms of under your rulership in your house.
No,
So
yeah, right.
that's
No,
usually about 18.
because you got to understand once you breach something that's a known thing, like it's like giving somebody another chance to stab you. Like I just got into a fight and this guy stabbed me, right? So I pick him up, shake his hand, and he stabbed me again. Like, what am I doing really?
I agree, and that's why I think it matters the nature of the relationship. I think that's why that comes into play. It depends on the type of relationship. If it's a business, absolutely not. Like, no, not doing that.
I mean, of course
But
you,
how
of
many
course you get kids.
Oh, here we go though. How many times do we trust a fast food restaurant messed up our order? We still go back.
Good point, Ari. That's hilarious. Because we go
Why,
back.
why are we trusting? If they got it wrong the first time, why do we trust that
That's
they get it right a
hilarious.
Free
second time?
food.
I don't,
Cause we
I
want
don't,
Mm.
that free
I don't,
food.
but I don't think that's like a I don't think that's like a trust
That's a
issue.
trust. We
What
trust the
is
people
Yes,
of
it
what
is.
we feed ourselves.
What?
What if they poison us? That's a trust. That's a major trust.
Yeah.
Especially
They
with
get
you
a hot
being.
sweet
So yeah.
special.
I don't want to throw trust around lightly. Understand?
it's not, but is that not
But
what?
So
Hey,
to add
what?
my
Have somebody make your vegan food, you're trusting them to do.
Hey, but look, hey,
guide them.
But you can't guide them
hey,
if they're
You can't.
hey, hold up. Hey, let me say this though, and this is why when we talk about trust, you can take it so many different levels. We can take it even to the supermarket when you pick up a box of low fat yogurt and it tells you it doesn't have this, and this. How do you trust that label? You get what I'm saying? Companies have been exposed for lying about stuff like that, what they put in their product. But you still go buy this same from the same company. You get what I'm saying? So you can take trust to a way broader horizon. That's why I just like we can go so many levels with this. And that's why, like I resaid, it depends on the partnership. You get what I'm saying? Or the relationship, you know? If it's just like, with you and your son, that's different. But with you in a restaurant, oh, that's a whole different ballgame. You get what I'm saying? Versus you and your favorite food. You get what I'm saying? So depending on your relationship, that's where you can like build that trust back or not. So
so
it's left.
with me, um, and before I start, y'all gave some good valid points. Ari, you definitely hit on some things. And just like I agree wholeheartedly with the business. Like if we're doing business together, we both got families probably. This is our money. Our names are both on the line when it's business. So that's very important. So if you cross me in business, we're just not. And from experience, I'm only going to speak on experience and the truth of myself. I've done disconnected plenty business opportunities just because there was I just seen no trust there. Like it's just was already seeing how it's going to play out as chaos. When it comes to family, and trust, like that's a different ball game because this is your family. And when I speak on family, I don't speak on cousins on down the line. I speak on immediate family. I speak on mother, father, sisters, brothers, granddaddy, grandma. That's like our immediate family there. So if trust is broke, like with my mother or somebody, like, is it restorable? I can't to speak overall on all trust with me. Like once I'm a forgiver because we have to forgive. God said so. But when it comes to forgiving, I just feel like you're never gonna fully, and this is just my opinion, I would never fully gain trust back from a person that broke it with me. I just can't I would never trust you again. And I'm only speaking on the known because see me, I like to communicate. I'm transparent. So you're going to know up front what it is and what it ain't. And if I tell you I don't like something, if I tell you something you're doing is not, and this goes for anybody. If I tell you something you're doing is offending me or making me feel any type of way other than a good way, you're crossing me. I no longer trust you. I don't care if you say we in a relationship. I don't care if you you break your phone and get off of social media and stuff. I still don't trust you because once you go out that door, thoughts going to come in my head immediately. I forget nothing. And see, that's what people have to understand. We're told to forgive because we have to, but we don't forget. Unless you really got the disease where you really just can't remember things. But other than that, no, you don't forget. So as long as it's in your head, as long as you still pondering on it, still thinking about it, did you fully trust that person again? No, you didn't, evidently, because you're still fretting on the situation. It's still playing on your mental.
Hey, let me add to this though. Just because you forgave somebody don't mean you gotta trust them. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
And just because you forgive them don't mean I trust you either. Yeah, I forget. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like
God says we have to forgive, but he didn't say forgive and trust them. He didn't say forgive and forget. He said none of the above.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. Forgiving is just the healing process. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So anybody can forgive, but trust, that's an action, and that's something that you don't have to do. Like, I don't have to trust you. I can forgive you all day for your trespasses, but I don't have to trust you ever again to be in your presence. You get what I'm saying? We can move on with life.
So let me ask this, because Sierra, you made a valid point, Sierra. So let me ask this. So could trust fully be restored
once it was broken? As you saying, like once it was, what did you say?
Yeah, so once trust is broken, could it fully be restored?
With me, I'm only speaking for me. I'm not speaking for anyone else.
Go ahead.
I'm only speaking for me. I only speak for myself. I can't speak for no one else. So with me, if trust was broken, no, it's not going to be restored. I don't trust you. Especially if we done talked about this, especially if we done sat down and communicate about this, if I done told you and then you go do that exact thing and then you keep doing that exact thing, like that's very, very alarming. I don't trust you at all. I'm gonna question what you do, and this is another thing I want to get at. And I know this is gonna I'm gonna segue into the next topic, but I just need to get this point out too. Once I break trust with you, it's just like, damn, like, okay, if you break the trust the first time, that doesn't mean I'm gonna treat you poorly or any type of way, but you will know I don't trust you. Like, you broke our trust, so you need to know I don't trust you. But that doesn't mean I got to treat you in a type of way or we got to break up or whatever. But if it gets to that point where you keep doing the same thing, it's like, at this point, like, what's really going on? I really don't trust you. Like, I don't trust you at all. And then once I lose trust with a person, it keeps playing on my mental. When that person leaves me, when that person goes wherever, family, friends, I don't care who it is. Like, I'm gonna think about it as long as we ain't some type of connect with each other. It's always gonna play on my mental. So anytime you make any move, I don't care if it's with whatever person, I don't care if it's with the same person or the same card or the same whatever you did, I'm always gonna question like, damn, what if they doing that again? Like, dang, well, they was sneaky with it the first time, so like they probably sneaking doing it again. And once it gets to that point, it's like really the relationship, whatever relationship it was, friendship, family, it just you have to draw ties at that point, because now I'm not mentally at peace anymore. Now I feel like I gotta control you, because see, once you start getting into restoring trust, and then it's like, all right, well, in order to restore my trust and in order for us to do this, here's the rubric. I want to go through your phone. Here's the rubric. You need to be with me when you go do this. Here's the rubric. When you go here, I want you to FaceTime me. Fuck it. Put a body cam on. You got a camera in your car? Like, I'm finna put a tracking device. Share your location. That's the big one now. Share your location with me. Send the addy to wherever you're going. Like, once they get to those points, it's like, damn, we taking each other's free will. God also said we cannot take someone's free will. I would never, once it gets to that losing trust, you have to think about free will at that point. Now we no longer have free will because I don't trust you. And then in order to gain that trust back, I have to take something from you. You have to, it's like, it's a take. I have to take something from you in order to rebuild that trust with me, which means, all right, I have to take your peace of mind in your phone. I have to take your peace of mind in wherever you're going. Now you can't freely go nowhere because they question you. What are you doing? Who you with? You know what I'm saying? So
Go ahead.
I have a point. So I want to challenge everyone, especially the people who feel like trust cannot be restored, to kind of think beyond significant relationships in terms of like intimate relationships and intimate partners. Because my default is going back on a parent-child relationship, because I feel like if you violate, like if your parent violates as a child, you're a child and the parent is the adult and they have a trust violation, so to speak, then can that be restored in adulthood? Absolutely, because the nature of your relationship has changed. So the way that the dynamic is different, so you're able to trust in that regard. So an example would be if your child, let's say that they confided in you a specific secret or something of that nature, like when they were young, and you shared it with someone and they were like, oh no, why did you share that? As an adult, are they now never going to be able to confide in you? I'm certain that that's something that's repairable. If we all go through our childhood, I'm sure there's some things that we can think about and be like, they was tripping, they was wilding a little bit.
can
But
I
as
answer this one?
we're like, you know what? So I feel like when you're not able to restore trust, when it comes down to certain relationships, it is very limiting. It's very limiting. It doesn't allow room for growth. It doesn't allow room for mistake. It doesn't allow room for error. It's just kind of like a one and done. And I know for me, I'm not perfect. So I would like people to be able to give me the avenue to right my wrongs if I've done that, especially if it was something that I didn't know had that level of significance. Like, even if it was like, something that we did discuss, but I was unaware that it was that level of significance. So I expect people to have, that level of empathy for me as I would have for them, to be able to try to repair, or at least give me the avenue to right my wrong.
Wait 1 second, Ben. Wait 1 second. Let me go to her points real quick. So, because this is an experience with my mother, and my mother probably gonna watch this, and baby, the cat's out the bag. But with my mother, if you know my mother, if you know, you know. So we grew up like that, and my mama love to run that mouth. That's her problem right there. She got to tell it. I don't care what it is. And do I trust her to this day? Absolutely not. Just because those reasons. And she knows that. And I'll tell her, because these are personal things. I don't care if it was personal or not. We said, let's not tell no one, keep this between us. How do auntie, grandma, granddaddy, sister Roseanne from the churchyard and everybody else know? I no longer trust you. And that's why I said when it comes to family earlier, it hits a little different because that brings about some other type of hurt because you're my mother and I should be able to confide in you, if not anybody in this world on this earth. Of course, God first, but here in the physical, we should be able to confide, especially in our parents. So we can't even go to our parents and tell our parents anything without them telling everybody else in the street. And me, I'm only gonna speak for myself. No, I can't trust you. I can't even come talk to you about anything because you'll tell it something small to something major. As you get older, when you spoke on that, see, let's not confuse trust with moving forward, because just because I lost trust with you don't mean like I said earlier, I have to treat you a certain way. We're gonna move past it. We're gonna kiki. We're gonna laugh. I don't have to be a B word towards you. And at the end of the day, if it gets to that point, then I just won't deal with you at all. But if I am gonna deal with you, that doesn't mean that I gain my trust back with you. It's just I know how to deal with you now. I know how to handle you. I know what to tell you and what not to tell you. I know how to move with you now. So it was more so of a lesson learned, but it wasn't more so of restoration with trust.
So yeah, let me piggyback off of that. You could have functional relationships without trust. Period. Because you could go off the use case. Like if I know, okay, we're doing business and I know your business, I don't necessarily gotta trust you. All I know is the output. Understand? I don't have to trust the individual or the entity to get the output. Understand? So you can have functional relationships without trust. Understand? Even as a spouse, I know they say, "Oh well, trust is key." Depending on who it is, it depends on who it is. Because if I have a spouse, and I'm speaking hypothetically, right? this is just hypothetically, right? Just for the conversation. And I don't trust her. That doesn't necessarily mean I can't be with her, because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if she go out do whatever, I don't care. But whatever we do here is what I do care about. That's a functional relationship. It might not be ideal, but it's functional. Understand? So trust, I don't think, especially after it's severed, I don't think it has to be restored. Like if I break somebody's trust, am I gonna jump through the ring of fire no, absolutely not. I'm gonna go to work tomorrow. Understand? That's what I'm gonna do. But even in a significant situation, it's like, all right, because like you said, if you got to go through the ring of fire after you sever trust, it's like, what are we really doing? I gotta reset. I gotta sell myself now, because that's what's happening. I gotta display and sell myself. And I think, go
I
ahead.
don't agree.
To me, that sounds ego driven.
Yeah, me too.
Because if you violated someone's trust, there should be humility. There should be
He
So,
said,
there should be
said,
empathy.
hold on.
if I violate somebody's trust,
Violated
if I break their trust,
you.
I'm not fixing. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to work tomorrow. I'm weak.
Right? You don't even care at all.
No. It's
I ain't
not
gonna lie.
that I care.
You did sound like
I'm
that though.
No, okay. All
weak.
right. So if I came off as if I wasn't caring, pardon me. I do care, but I'm not gonna go through the ring of fire. Understand? I'm not gonna go. It's almost like a hazing or a ritual to get in the fraternity now. Understand? If
But
So
that's
you're saying like, because you're
not
speaking
what
on
you
your
do.
partner. So you're saying like, if you break your partner's trust and they say, hey, well, I want to go through your phone, you're gonna say, absolutely not. I'm going to work tomorrow.
so again, it's still a certain level. There's a certain level of humility that's needed, because if you wrong someone else, then yes, it is absolutely your responsibility to go through the ring of fire based on your nature of that, like your significance of that relationship. It's like, I violated you, so I'm willing to go through the ring of fire. I trust that whatever these action items that you need to see to help you build your confidence in me is worth it. That you're not just, out here making me look like a clown just because you want to make me look like a clown. It's a two-way street. Now you have to also trust that person is not just, putting you through the ringer just for the, sake of the cause. So
I agree.
it's double-sided.
I agree, Irie. With me personally, so I know I only spoke on behalf of someone if I lose trust with someone, but if someone tell me they lost trust in me, I'm such a people pleaser. So people take that as ass kissing, but it's not even that. Like, if I broke your trust, whatever I need to do, especially, like, we're gonna speak on relationship part, okay? So if it's with a spouse, if I know I broke my spouse's trust and we go to bed together at night, like, I need to make sure I'm being very reassuring. I need to make sure there's some changed behavior. I need to make sure these are not repeated patterns, because that's just alarming. If my partner say, hey, you broke trust with me, you did this, and then I'm like, all right, well, okay, and just don't give a damn about it, I'm not gonna fix it, I'm gonna go do this, that's very alarming. Nah, I'm gonna reassure my partner, hey, who you chatting with such and such, hey, let me see that phone, whatever. Don't go through me and my friends' messages though. Let me who you out with, where you at, send your location, stuff like that. Like, people don't understand. It's not so much about, oh, they just want to be in your business. They want to know what you're doing, how to trust you and catch you up and see if you're cheating. It's not that. It's just you destroyed their mental place with you. Love is so strong. Love will really get you killed. Love will kill yourself. And trust plays a major role in that when it comes to relationships. So if I broke my partner's trust, then I know my partner is hurting somewhere. I know I done traumatized my partner somewhere. I need to be reassuring just for their mental sake, at least. And if you don't care about their mental sake, you don't love that person. So at the end of the day, you need to split up. You need to go your way and let that person go heal and go their way. That's just alarming. We have to think about people's mental at the end of the day, because it's not just trust. Trust plays with mental. Trust plays with people's heart. Trust is a heartbroken. Trust is exactly how I said it. Trust is heartbreaking, because when you break trust with a person, you actually broke that person's heart because they confided in you. They relied on you. They, whatever the case may be. So I feel like on my behalf, if someone tell me that, I'm going to think of everything. Like, I probably broke their heart. I hurt their feelings. They probably in a rough space right now mentally. What if they have children? I want to make sure they're okay to take care of their kids. How is my partner going to be the best for his kids, or whatever the case may be, whatever the situation is. So let me be reassuring at the end of the day, even if this don't work out on down the line, let me, whatever. And if that's not enough for that person as well, then okay, let's go our separate ways, because evidently I'm not fulfilling that space that I've broken or destroyed or whatever the case may be, but at least I tried.
All right, so let's talk about that, right? Because it's situations that happens all the time to where people are trying to restore trust, but now the infraction is being brought back up as if the restoration process isn't started. If y'all could, so if I'm restoring trust, right, but the infraction is still being Groundhog Day, is no way that person could restore trust.
So what's the
No,
time?
that's inaccurate. I disagree, because let's not confuse the two. Let's not combine it. You broke my trust. There's no expiration date on when I need to get over it. You hurt me. So if I'm hurt and you broke trust with me, just because you're restoring trust don't mean that, oh, my partner or my mama or my whoever said they're going to do this to make it back, so maybe I need to forget. No, you hurt me. And when I heal from it, I'll leave it alone. And if I need to keep bringing it up to you to get that that's what reassuring is. That's also reassurance. So if I need to keep coming to you for that validation, that reassurance, you have to accept it, because you caused the chaos.
So this
You breached the trust. It's you.
You
All right,
can't feel no way about that.
It sound like
so
it's a dub.
oh, Khat, you
Yo,
know I'm
that what
full
it
with
sound
this.
like. It sound like it's a dub.
So
Yo,
listen,
it sound like
listen.
it's a dub after that.
All
Yo,
right, so
Yeah. Like, and if you
what?
can't handle that heat, if you can't handle them still coming back and needing to talk about it, needing to get it off their chest, needing to clear their mental, then leave. At that point,
Yeah, but
it ain't no
right,
functional relationship because that person still can't function mentally because they still can't get over what you did. It was probably atrocious to them. So leave.
hey,
Like, I just,
hey, but hold up. Hey, I gotta chime in on this, right? I really need to chime onto this because, you know, I agree with that, but I disagree with that because that if you can't get over it with that person, what makes you think you're not gonna carry it over to the next person? Because I've been in a relationship to where it was trust issues, but I realized it wasn't from me; it was from the guy that this person had dated before me.
well, that person need to take
Instead
some
of her,
time to heal and don't jump back in a new relationship first.
right,
That's another topic for
right.
another day. They need to heal.
so now, all right,
But
hold on,
but hey,
hold
so
on.
wait, let me ask you this though.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, I mean.
No, because I
No,
was gonna say, all right, so now we got to understand, okay, if there's a healing process in the restoration of trust, right? And you said there's no expiration date. How long? Because there's no expiration. How long do the person gets persecuted for the same infraction if they are restoring? How long does that
So,
continue?
so if I understand your question correctly, it's what is that timeline? If you are doing the action items and you're doing everything to the T, then what's the date on that? What's the expiration date where we're now
Like,
back to
yeah.
restore trust?
Right.
So I think that would be within the action items. So the action items will outline kind of like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do, and you have to have the understanding that it's a two-way street. It's I am opening myself to actually regain trust for this person. I'm going to allow them to do the things that's necessary to restore their trust and right their wrong. And then there has to be a touch basis. There has to be some timeline. It's just like with any goal, you have to have a specific measurement. Okay, this is what I want by this date, and then come back. Where we at? How do we feel? What's really going on? And be able to have that open conversation. I think a lot of times, especially when it comes down to intimate partners, there's that lack of it. It becomes an ego thing. It becomes like, man, I'm doing everything, and it's like, but are you really? Are you really? um, and then it's also, are you really open to that trust? Have you already determined a year ago that you wasn't going to trust this person ever again, but you just playing semantics and you want to make it seem like, but the reality is that you're the kind of person that once you violate, that's it. And you so, that kind of stuff matters. And something that you said earlier, was that you can have a functional relationship without having trust. I disagree. When
Okay.
you said about the business, and it's like, okay, well, the output, but you have to trust that that person is not scamming you. You have to trust that they not, being frivolous with your money, with your time, with those different things. So there's a certain level of trust that goes into it automatically, whether that's blind trust or if you actually vetted that person or that business or whatever the case may be. There's some level of trust that you're giving them. Once you make that business transaction, you're saying, okay, I trust that you're going to do the right thing, or I trust that you're going to do what you do.
You're
Whether
going to hold
that's
out the end of the
the
agreement or
right thing
whatever.
or whatever. Like, you only trust the person as far as, they know themselves. But, yeah.
So,
To answer what you were saying too, Ben, when you asked me about the expiration date, I agree with what Irie is saying. I'm not saying there's no expiration date, like they never gonna get over it. That's dramatic. I'm not saying like that, but I'm saying
you can't put an expiration especially if you the antagonist, you can't put an expiration date on when this person need to forgive you. Like, you hurt them. So give that person time to heal. Make sure you're doing the things that's whatever y'all done. And of course, communication is going to be communicated. There's no way that somebody's going to break trust and then immediately just read your mind and start doing everything you want to do. No, of course, y'all communicated about it. So if you're working, and just like Ari said, is you really doing everything, or is you doing what you think you're doing and feel like it's everything? Is you actually doing what's needed for, or and then it goes both ways, just like I already said with the other one. Like, you have to be open to be healed, like to be open to that restoration. And if you're not, then don't waste time either. Just because if you indecisive, you need to say that, hey, I'm not sure if I want to trust you again. I do want you to gain my trust back, but I'm not gonna, don't hold your breath to it on me trusting you, like, because you did this. It was very atrocious to me or whatever. But don't just say, oh, I want to trust you again, do this, knowing damn well I'm going to trust you again. That's just.
All right. So in that situation, that's what I was referring to, right? To where people say, okay, I'll give you an opportunity to be trustworthy again. But in their mind, they're like, it's a dub. Understand? You about to go through everything I want you to go through. Understand? And use that
I'm like
as
a revenge.
use that as the opportunity to drive you into the ground. That's what I was talking about. That's why I was like, well, yeah, work. We got to go to work tomorrow. I understand. Like,
See, and that's what Simone be saying, and that's what I agree with. That we all can agree with. Communication has to be put first, and understanding. Let's make sure we understand what our partner is saying too, like, because and then another thing why 100% of stuff fail and trust is not restored is because people don't know how to talk to people no more. People be talking at people because they hurt, and they're talking out of hurt and anger. Let's make sure we're talking and we're actually communicating and getting things across mutually. Let the other person speak too. You can't, just because you hurt doesn't mean, but don't dismiss them either. You cause the hurt either. You can't be dismissive to whatever they're saying, but both parties should be able to communicate. Oh, before I begin though, let me add this too when it comes to communicating. Don't be gaslighting either. Don't be trying to use that when I say communicate, and after you didn't hurt that person. Don't try to use that as your go-to to say, well, you did this to me. It ain't about you. You should have spoke up beforehand, and you have to suck it up. Bye. It's about what I think. I'm just kidding. No, because people do that, like, especially when they hurt someone and it's coming to trust. I'm like, dang, I don't trust you anymore. You done did such and such. And they be like, oh, well, you did. Actually, they don't slide right now. We talking about what you did. You should have spoken that beforehand. So actually, no. And I'm actually probably not going to trust you ever again. You can get out my face.
So as Ben would say, let me play devil's advocate. So when it comes down to trust and violating trust and, all of that kind of stuff, how much of that accountability falls on you and your decision making and your ability to vet people as trustworthy?
You asking for the person who lost the trust?
100%.
A lot. Yeah.
Wait. Let me understand the question. Is she asking for the person who lost the trust with the other person, or the person that made them lose the trust?
She's asking for the giver of trust. How, like, what is the accountability on their end? And I believe
100%.
they 100% accountability. And that's why we ask the question, is trust given or is earned? Because if you can earn my trust, it's absolutely 100% on me, right? Because you're earning something. I'm giving you something in exchange, and it's trust. So it's 100% on me. When it's given, it's still 100% on you, right? Because, like I say though, I trust in the Lord to put the right people around me. My trust is never in people, ever. Understand? I trust in the God that's within them, right? To work with me and around me. I never just trust the person because I trust in the Lord. I trust in God. He's a true and living God. So that's where I put my trust in. Understand? To work through people for cohesiveness in my life. That's what I trust in. So, but I think it's 100% on you, especially if trust could be earned because you're giving something. And it's true.
Hey, that boy records. I trust people to be people, man. Listen, I'm 36 years old. I've been on this life. I've been in this earth for 36 years. I've seen so many people. It's like I'm just used to people. You understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't like when somebody misuses my trust. It doesn't make me not trust the next man. You get what I'm saying? It just makes okay. You show me who you are. Now, if I allow that again, that's on me. You get what I'm saying? But even the first time, that's still on me. But now I just learned my lesson. I move on. I live by my code still. I get paid every other Thursday. As long as you can't take that from me, I'm good. But you get what I'm saying? No, as far as trusting, I'm not gonna, just because somebody did something to me, now my trust is gone for all humanity. No. That's people. You get what I'm saying? People have a choice to be trustworthy or to be untrustworthy. And if your choice is to be untrustworthy, then I have a choice to say, okay, I cannot trust you anymore because you show that you're untrustworthy, period. Let's move on. You get what I'm saying? So you just have to trust people to be people, man. You can't control what nobody's gonna do at
What
all.
I
you?
have a question, real quick.
Yeah.
When we speaking on accountability on the first, um, well, maybe I might be interjecting then, or I'm probably not understanding it properly. But if everything is cookies and cream and someone goes out and be dishonest and disloyal, whatever, I don't think that accountability should have been on me. I'm not understanding what y'all say, because when I hear accountability, I'm hearing you need to take the hold on.
So when you come back, we'll get back to that. But the accountability is in the discerning of the spouse, right? Because Ari, you were talking about relationship, correct?
Well, just in general,
I thought you were talking about in
yeah,
general,
I
like,
think it falls, that applies to any relationship,
Okay.
because it's more so your accountability in terms of vetting people, and this is the person that you decided to trust.
Okay, Simone.
So how much of that accountability do you take when there is a trust violation?
So
okay, so you're saying hold accountability for someone breaking the trust with you.
Yes, how much accountability do you take in that? What's the percentage?
Okay, I get what you're saying now. Sorry, y'all. I misunderstood. So I had to make sure y'all understand it.
well, what you got to say about trust, Wolf? You just been here chilling, man. Listen, what's your take on
Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this. Okay, in the beginning, as a teenager, I was putting my trust in the people. It didn't turn out right. So now I just deal with people accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Like a person can, your mama could turn her back on you. So if your mom can turn her back on you and you cannot trust your mom, anybody else down the line pretty much just don't really matter.
Mm.
So a lot of people put their trust in their grandparents. Your grandparents could cross you out. So just with that being said, I would rather put my trust into the Lord. For that way he can guide me around the people that I need to be guided around. For the simple fact of the matter is that, as a matter of fact, as of right now, God didn't put me around the people that I need to be around.
Mm-hmm. Talk about it.
The reason being is I'm not used to help. I'm not used to people helping. I'm used to doing it all on my own. And if I can't do it, it'll get done. So now that I'm around people that's actually helping me, my feeling is different. Which meaning is that I over appreciate it. more so than just appreciating. So now that I'm around people that I can love, I can communicate with, I can not have to worry about being backdoored, rear-ended. I love it, man.
Pause.
Oh, you gotta pause.
Yeah,
Just-
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
Well, then,
Yo, come on, man. Like he was serious though. Like yo, come on, man.
No, I
Yo, you really
believe.
gonna pause it though? Yo, y'all messed up for that, yo. The man was having a serious moment. Y'all gonna pause the man. Like that's messed up.
It's love. It's all
I
love.
know.
Go
No.
ahead.
but at the end of the day, the people that I did put my full trust in, I know I have no longer no communication with them. They're not there anymore. So I can't do nothing but just pray for them and keep it pushing.
So now,
Okay.
watch this, because me and bro spoke. We speak on that, right?
Mhm.
And putting your full trust in somebody with no checks and balances is 100% that person's fault. If I put my full trust in somebody with no checks and balances that they're going to do the right thing every time, I'm responsible 100% of if anything goes bad. Understand? Period. So that's why
I had to learn it.
right. No, and we just speaking on it. So, and that's why it's important. Like he said, now his trust is in the Lord, because when you trust in God, that's where the blessings are stored. Right. That's when people come into your life and aid rather than subtract.
Yeah.
Understand?
Right.
Because it's that energy. But when you put your trust in man, like Okwazi said, man is gonna do what man do.
Right.
If I go get a venomous snake and it bites me, and I'm like, oh my God, my pet snake bit me. What am I? What should it have done?
Feel me?
So
I'm gonna get in a. It be wild animals that people go and tame, right? And then when they get mauled, oh my God, my pet lion, it went haywire. Come on, what are we really
That's
saying?
facts, though.
What are
That's
we really
super
saying?
facts.
But see, that's the thing here. That's the thing right here. But let's not confuse trust with common sense. People try to confuse the two. Let's not confuse, let me say it again, trust or trust issues with common sense. I don't got trust issues, man. I got common
Hey,
sense.
wait, hold up. But Sierra, what I think you're just trying to say, it's trust is a choice. You choose who you trust. You get what I'm saying? So what that boy Rex is trying to say, you have to take accountability for your choice to trust somebody. You get what I'm saying? Because you choose who you trust. If I don't
Right.
trust you, that's my choice. But if I choose to trust you, then that's on me as a person. I chose to give you my trust. And if you misuse it, that's on me because I chose to give that to you. Instead of me sitting back and watching you, get what I'm saying? Because most times when it comes to trust people, I feel like we ignore the red flags that are there. You get what I'm saying? Now, our parents, that's a different situation. I'm talking relationship wise. You get what I'm saying? Our parents, like I say, again, what I said at the beginning, that's all we know. You get what I'm saying? So that's given. You get what I'm saying? Later on, we might say, oh, hold up, you lied to me. Now my trust is gone. You get what I'm saying? Because now you're at the age of understanding. So that's a whole different ballgame. But overall,
Right.
when you give, like, far as a business partner or a relationship, that is a personal choice on you to say, hey, I am choosing to do business with you. I am choosing to be in this relationship with you. I am choosing to marry you. You get what I'm saying? That is your personal choice. You get what I'm saying? So if they break that trust, I mean, you chose to give that to them, so it's a little bit on you. I'm not saying they don't have an accountable. They're not to be held accountable. They are as well, but you are to share some of that accountability as well. That's all I think we're saying.
When I hear accountability, the only reason I didn't speak on it because I didn't understand, but just hearing everybody, I think accountability comes in that when we don't, if you going in not expecting. So we all have an expectation. Everybody have expectations. You have to expect the unexpected. You have to expect to be crossed. We're humans. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. If you going in expecting a person to be 100 all in, something is wrong. Seriously, something is mentally wrong, and it needs to be addressed and talked about. We have to expect that cross from anyone. You have to expect to be let down at any time, any given point in your life. Another thing where people feel it is two things: is expectation, and it's also wanting to accept things for what we want it to be. So we let a lot of red flags slide. Whole time we've been crossed a million times in our face beforehand. We just was blinded to it because sometimes love is blind, and that plays a role in trust. Somebody probably already broke our trust before, and we so blindsided to it because we want to see them or accept things for what we want it to be and not for what it actually is. To speak on what you was just speaking on, Chris.
So
we let a lot of red flags pass because of it.
I think one of the things that you mentioned was in terms of that blind trust when it comes down to a relationship, that you shouldn't extend blind trust to your mate or your partner when you're in an intimate relationship. I did catch that, correct? I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you talk about which one? From when Chris said it or me? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You, Sierra, my bad. Okay. Yeah. But you
go ahead.
I did catch that right, that you should never trust, like not blind trust, like 100%, because people are people, and that I did catch that right.
Not even like never trust, but it need to be expected though. You need to expect, even if it don't happen, you need to be prepared for it to happen, because at the end of the day, you hurt yourself. That's where you need to hold accountability at. I came in here thinking, oh, it was going to be cookies and cream and it wasn't going to be a little dirt on it. Like, that's kind of, I'm not saying like never. Well, speaking on blindsided, because love is blind.
To make sure, because what I wanted to say, I just wanted to make sure I was catching it right, and it was the double cross part. So the expect the double cross part. And I think that a lot of times, especially as Black women, that we have to be very careful of that line when it comes down to trusting our partners and our mate, because a lot of times we lose out on some really good quality stuff because we're not open enough and we're not vulnerable enough. And like an example would be when it comes down to your husband being a provider. Your husband is 100% the breadwinner, the bread maker. He works. You're a stay-at-home mom. A lot of Black women will say, absolutely not. I got to have me a little something on the side. Like, I got to have my little pocket money. Like, I got to have me a little stash of cash for the double cross. However, it's expected in every other race. I expect my husband to handle the household and be the breadwinner and have that money and do right by me. That's an expectation. That's like that's where we starting. Like, if you ain't doing that, then we ain't even, So right. A lot of times we cut ourselves short because we're always expecting a double cross. And I feel like when you, as y'all all stated, when you put your trust in God and you are actually vetting people and they're proving themselves trustworthy, then you can have that blind trust, and you don't have to, in this example, necessarily have like, your stash of cash or whatever the case may be. Like, you can be fully vulnerable and receive the fullness of it all.
But see, when I say expect, that doesn't mean like you need to have a guard up. It just needs to be a knowing. Like, I hope that no one is out here thinking nothing is ever going to happen to them, because it's bound to happen. I don't think it's one person on earth that's probably lived a great life and nothing ever happened to them. We all go through things. So I'm not saying that means you need to have a guard up and act this type of way and block any blessings. No, don't do that. But don't be naive either, is what I'm saying. Like, some common sense too. Okay. Let's make sure we're not being naive as well. because you're gonna only hurt yourself, and you're gonna hurt pretty bad actually, because you're gonna be really let down thinking nothing was ever gonna happen to you. But it's versus, all right, it was expected, people mess up, because that's where that line come in at, because you expect it. It's like, all right, it's cool, we all make mistakes, let's work,
And
because
I
it's
think
expected.
so. Right there, I think that's the thick of it as well. With that mindset of things do happen, right? Life does happen. Uh, trust does get breached. I think that is when it could be restored. With that understanding,
Right.
Right.
understand
So an
that.
extent, depending on the situation of what
Not
happened.
I'm not saying people could just commit atrocities after atrocities, and it's like, oh no, that atrocity is okay. We could, nah, I'm not saying that, but no, depending upon what it is. But I think with that mind, I think trust is also is a mental thing. It's
That's what I was
definitely
saying earlier.
right. So, and even though we could say, okay, these tangible items has to be met, right? This action register has to be met. Like Sierra said earlier, it's still gonna be in the thick of the back of the mind. Like, hold on. So, with the renewed mindset of, you know what, things aren't gonna happen in the relationship. Trust is gonna be here and there. Well, not here and there, but breached a
I'm
little
like,
bit.
what kind of
Like,
So
relationship?
I'm about to say.
trust the word, right? But no, trust will be breached at certain levels. However, it can be restored because people are human. Uh, every expectation is not known, and some expectations, they may not be able to live up to. So with that, I think with those circumstances, I think a restoration of trust can occur.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I have this right. At the beginning of the conversation, you was like, absolutely not. And now you have a alternate perspective that given
Right.
certain circumstances, trust can be restored.
No, right. So yeah, so the paradigm shifts immediately when new information presents itself, right? So I mean
That's
that's
what's
it.
up.
Yeah, that's how I live. So but with that understanding, absolutely it could be restored. And then let me just reiterate, right? I don't want anybody to think, oh, he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Understand? Stone Cold.
What?
No, so and I was talking on a particular running through the ring of fire and
I
not
understand.
never being forgiving for an infraction that I would say, well, I still got to go to work. Understand? Sometimes you could live in Groundhog's Day. And I don't know if everybody's seen the movie Groundhog's Day, but that was the movie to where every day they were reliving the same day. Understand? So what happens sometimes and oftentimes is you could breach trust, right? And you could communicate, hey, I'm willing to restore trust. And as the restoration process is occurring, that person is still bringing that same thing up. And it's like, well, I can never restore this thing. And I'm still going through the process.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off. Don't look at it that way, because they're not bringing it up saying, so if you're restoring trust and they're still bringing it up, it's not so much they bring it up saying, oh, well, you doing this, you doing this. Evidently, you're not. You're restoring trust. They're bringing it up because they want to talk about it. They want reassurance on it. So it's not. So I wouldn't take that as a negative, or as a bad thing that they still want to talk about it. They want to talk about it. We still restoring. That's what restoring is. Let's restore and have understandings. Let's communicate. So maybe that's their way of trying to communicate, whether they're mentioning it more than once or not. It's not so much to beat you down. It's not so much. It's nothing. Like I said, trust and all this, it's a mental state. So they need that mental peace, that mental sanity and reassurance with their partner. So yes, we're restoring trust. You're doing this. Hey, babe, I'm doing this. I want to build your trust. All right, but such and such happened. It hurt me. Whatever. That's not them trying to beat you down. They just trying to get that. They want that reassurance. They want to understand that mental sanity and peace back again. Don't take it as if they're trying to knock you down. Now, the only way I could see that is if you restoring trust and you still relapsing and doing the same stuff or doing things that's like, all right, look, you hurt me, you did this, you did that, like, and they're gonna keep bringing it up because you keep doing the same thing. If you're not doing the same thing, I highly doubt someone's gonna keep bringing it up saying you did this, you did this, you did this. I would take that
Nah,
as
they
okay,
do.
they want to vent about it, like they
They
need to
do.
they need to get that
They do.
reassurance. And
They do.
and see if they do, then, and like I
They
said
do.
earlier, if it's too much for you and if they keep bringing it up, you don't have to deal with it. Nobody have to deal with anything they don't want to deal with. I was told by a wise person, people only do what they want to do in life. So if you're
Hey,
saying that
hey,
again, you want
here's what I
to.
said before. It's a dumb. That stuff
So
is
if
a
it's too much,
dumb because because
leave.
9 times out of 10, that person's always gonna bring it up. I'm sorry.
You
Nine
a
times
dog,
out of
you a
10.
cheater and a liar. Baby, I just did
Yeah.
this.
You
You a
might as
dog.
well keep your peace about it, keep it moving. Shoot. All
No,
right.
yeah. And the thing is, like I say, for the infractor, right? For the person that breached trust, right. They could be remorseful, right? They could be concerned, they could be caring. However, they could still move on without being cold, even though they committed the atrocity, because they still have to live a life as well. Understand? They're not a prisoner to their atrocity. And that's what I'm speaking on. Becoming a prisoner to your atrocity. I don't
And you
think
have to
that's
leave.
Is
I don't
that
think
not
that
the same as not? Would that not be the same as like the unforgiveness or not even giving the person the opportunity to right their wrong in relationship?
you're right. In that instance, and that's what I'm talking about when I say I gotta go to work tomorrow. In that instance, to where the unforgiveness and the
So
willingness is there.
speaking
Not
on that too, if someone blankly tells you though, hey, I'm never gonna trust you again, and you choose to stay, there's accountability. That's on you.
no
That's
right.
on you. You can't
No,
feel no way if they still talk junk, if they still want to bring it up and call you the dog and the cheater or whatever, the whore, whatever else people say. That's on you because they told you, hey, I don't trust you. You crossed the line. And if they choose to speak on it, I feel like everybody's entitled to speak on what they want to. And I'm very big on you don't have to deal with it. So you cross me, you keep nagging about it, yeah. You say you don't trust me. All right, I'm out. If you choose to stay and deal with it, you can't be mad and complain about it. They're gonna say what they want to say. They're still gonna feel how they feel. If they let it go and they didn't, that's between them at that point. And you don't have to deal with it. You can leave.
right.
Literally, like you don't have to go through the prisoner trial. Like you don't have to be a prisoner. You can actually leave because you're not actually a prisoner. You only became a prisoner once you chose to keep them handcuffs on and stay locked in. That's on you.
I
At the end of
agree.
the day, that's when you become a prisoner. It ain't the person making you a prisoner. You made yourself a prisoner. You chose to keep the handcuffs on. You chose to stay. You chose to stay locked in. So when you chose that and you know you hurt that person said, hey, I don't trust you. You see they still nagging about it. They want to, not even nagging. I don't even want to call it nagging because I feel like I'm dismissing how they feel. You hurt them. And if they still want to speak on it and they still feel a type of way about it, because whether they talking shit, they hurt. That's them expressing their anger. They got to get the shit talk out. Or if they want to cry about it every day, or if they want to be quiet every day, like that's however they want to express themselves. You don't have to stay. You can take the handcuffs off at any time and leave.
So one thing I'm gonna say, one thing for sure, two things for certain. I only chew my cabbage twice. And look, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Yeah,
I
I
was
hate
gonna say
you,
not a
Kevin.
third,
So
baby.
I
You gotta
get what
chew a
it's
little
saying,
bit.
based off what she said when it comes down to sticking and staying, if that's the choice that you made. Does that now, when you breach someone's trust, does that now give them justification for mistreatment, or does it now validate or justify
No.
No.
Any
No.
ill treatment. I mean, I know this
No.
is
If
me
a
being
person
devil's
chooses to
advocate.
stay,
I think that it
if a
does,
person
but I
chooses to
feel like
stay, that doesn't give you the right to treat them as a shitty person. But we live in reality, and people are gonna do what they want to do in life. You chose to stay. If someone still want to treat you poorly, that's their choice, and you don't have to be there. Leave. If you choose to stay,
I
that's
agree with
your
that.
choice, and you
Yeah.
gotta suck it up. You either suck it up, fight about it. I don't know.
Hey.
And see, that plays a role also. Hold on one second, Chris. That plays a role
Go
also
ahead.
with the get backs. Like that's what leads into get backs and revenge and cheating and just playing the fire for fire. Like that's what happens then when it gets to that point. All right, I'm gonna choose to stay, but and then that person want to cheat, and then y'all playing the cheating game. Now we on the cheating games. Like
so
it
you
just
can't get
gets
your bitch back.
it gets ridiculous at that point because you nagging. I don't want to hear it. I feel like a prisoner. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do that. I don't got no peace here. I'm not getting no rest. I'm not. Then we got all of that. Now it's nothing but conflict. It's toxic at that point. If I said I don't trust you, you cross lines. I'm speaking on it. You choose to stay. It's toxic. It's toxic because neither one of us has peace now. I don't have peace because my partner don't trust me. Have to hear my partner mouth every day. My partner don't have peace because I broke the trust. Now they going through stuff every day. Like who's really winning? Neither one of us. Like, and that's why I said earlier, once it gets past those levels, it's just really time to cut ties. Ain't no getting no trust back.
Agree.
Baby, we got to go our separate ways at this point. It's a wrap. I don't give a fuck what type of business we got together. I don't care what type of whatever we got going on. At the end of the day, it's like, yo, if I can't get myself together mentally, how are we gonna function to do anything else? You're destroying my peace of mind. And once you take that, once you start messing with my peace of mind, my happiness, my sanity, I don't want to do anything with you. I'm no longer, and I'm gonna say attraction. When I say attraction, don't take that in an intimate way. I'm no longer attracted with business with you. I'm no longer attracted with work with you. I'm no longer attracted with taking a walk with you, going to exercise. I don't care what it is. I don't want to because I see it's not even a real you. I see another side of you and I don't like it. And you make me feel like a prisoner, or you make me feel this way, or I see another side of you and I don't like it. Now I can't trust you. Now I don't want to be around you. Now I'm questioning you. Now my mental's, it goes both ways. It's hand in hand. No matter who takes accountability or who's at fault at the end of the day. It's just once it gets to that point, once the choices are made after that breach of trust, and the choices are I'm gonna say, whatever happens after that is on you guys individually. Period. I just
You wanted to comment?
Oh nah, I was just gonna say, I think like most times the person who broke the trust, the only reason they stay to put up with that is because of guilt. I'm just gonna be honest. I think it's really because of guilt, because they feel like, hey, I broke the trust. Now I gotta stay here and deal with the abuse. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna chime in and add that. That's why most times whoever broke the trust, they end up just staying and dealing with it because they know they fucked up. You get what I'm saying? So they're just like, I guess I gotta deal with it. But I would recommend it. If you
I
offended,
don't
if you offended, then just, hey, my bad, I fucked up, but I'm gonna holler at you because nobody got time for all that, man. Ain't nobody got time.
Irie, what's your last? And then we're gonna get our last thoughts. Irie, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just think that people should not treat other people as blankets. It's very important that if you have someone of value, if you have a relationship that you care about that's of significance, treat it as such. God is in control of it all at the end of the day. So, don't play with God's blessings. If it's someone that means anything to you, then you should be protecting that, to preserve that relationship and do your best not to violate trust in the first place. In the event that something does happen, we're all human, we're not perfect, then you definitely have to put your ego to the side and do what it is that's necessary to restore that trust. Have empathy, have compassion, treat people how you would want you to be treated.
Sierra.
my last words, and I'm gonna speak of relationships, guys. It's okay to be single. If you know you're not gonna do right, if you know Because you know if you're gonna be disloyal and dishonest, like it's not rocket science. You know what type of person you are, and just please stop taking advantage of the good. It's making it so hard for good women. It's making it so hard for good men out here. And another thing, ladies, come on, we gotta tighten up. Y'all done set the dang standard and the bar so low. Like you can get picked up just by buying a piece of Burger King meal. Like, come on, we gotta do better out here, kings and queens. Like, let's stand on that. Kings and queens didn't say, "Give me $40 and I'm gonna lay up with you tonight." That's kind of ridiculous. Let's have some self-worth about ourselves. And it's okay to be single. You don't have to be sneaky and cheat. If you want to do your dirt, please break up with the person instead of hurting the person. It's just chaos. Like, you're destroying that person. You're gonna make it harder for the person for the next. And that's not what Moneybag said. Moneybag said he's buying her diamonds, purse, and all this other stuff. He's making it harder for the next, not cheating on her. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go listen to that song by Moneybag.
Quasi.
Oh man, I said it before. I say it again, man. Just trusting people to be people. You know, I mean, you can't stop what's in somebody's heart. You get what I'm saying? You can only do what God called you to do on this earth. You know, as long as whoever broke your trust, as long as they're breaking that trust is not affecting your purpose in life, man, keep it pushing, man, and keep doing what God wants you to do. Peace and blessings.
Well, my thing is, for all the people that's in a relationship that don't trust their partner, it's okay to let them go. It's okay to move forward. You don't have to be hindered. You don't have to be a hostage in your relationship. Love one another. You know what I'm saying? Keep passing the blessings on. But definitely trust your circle. If you can't trust your circle, wing them out. I don't care who they are. Because at the end of the day, with that one bad seed can trickle the whole thing down. Everything can fall. You're associated to who the people you are and around. And not only that, just stay prayed up because it's hard out here.
Trust in the Lord.
Yes.
First and foremost, trust in the Lord. Understand, because He is the protector, He's the provider of many men. So I say just trust in the Lord. Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. This is That Boy Reckless. We are out of here. We appreciate you guys in attendance. Pursue happiness fearlessly. Understand. Live life, love life. Always. Lean on God. Always. Don't lean on man. It's a thing that we call the Holy Spirit, and it dwells within man. Lean on Him. Oh, okay.